Welcome to the part 5 of this video series. In this part, we will look at some more questions which is linked to DP300 administering relational databases on Microsoft Azure. Now, these are all real important exam questions. Chances of getting the same question in the exam or similar questions is very high. I would insist that you should focus on the concepts explained in these videos to arrive at the right answers. That way, even if you do not get the same question or similar question, you will still be able to pass the exam successfully. Please subscribe to my channel and like my videos. Now let's jump into the questions. So part for questions 1 to 26, please refer parts 1 to 4 of this video series. So first, let us try to identify what are the keywords here. So you are building a backup solution, database backup solution. Now, if there is a regional outage, we should be able to restore the database backups. And needless to say, most of the questions comes with this clause that the solution must minimize costs. In the real world as well, you should always try to propose a solution which minimizes the costs. Why? Because cloud, usually people go to cloud because of uh, pay per view model. So it is pay as you go. So if you are not cognizant of the costs, it might swell very fast. And one of the problems with going with cloud implementations is uh, the managers of the department usually feel that they do not have much of control over the cost overruns. That's why as a database administrator, as a solution architect, you should always be focused to propose a solution which minimizes costs, and still you should be able to achieve what you need to achieve for that client. So for the backups, which type of storage accounts we need to use? So what is the keyword here? Azure regional outage. That means one region goes down. If that is the case, then your LRS option A is of no use and option C is of no use. Why? Because if you see LRS, it is local. So here, if you see LRS, what it does is it replicates your data 3 times within a single data center in the primary region, and that is not what we want, because we need to be prepared for a regional outage. So if everything is redundant within the same region, and if and in the same data center, and if there is a failure, so there is a single point of failure. Suppose this data center fails, then we cannot recover it. Now option C, zone redundant storage, ZRS. Now if you see this Geo GZRS, what it does is it copies and creates 3 copies in the different AZs, but in the primary region itself. But here we are talking about a regional failure. So since we are talking about an Azure regional outage, C will not work because it will only work in the primary region. But what if the entire region fails, the entire data center, the entire AZ fails? The question is linked to that. That's why A and C are totally wrong. Now what happens is B and D will apply to this scenario since it is linked to geo redundant storage. Both will do that. But what's the difference between the two? So the difference is the geo redundant storage. It can be used as an option, but it will you can only start reading and writing it if a failover happens. If there is a primary region, it fails, uh, uh, then only the routing will happen to the geo redundant storage. But read access geo redundant storage. So the advantage of RAGRS is that whenever a failover happens, so suppose a failover happens, the geo redundant storage will activate only. I mean, the backup is there, but it can be used only if a failover happens. But option B, read access, this will continue to be read uh, even if the failover doesn't happen. So there will be a primary instance and a secondary backup instance, and the developers can create their application to talk to the primary instance, and they can also create beta code so that it can in times of failover, it can also interact with the secondary databases and they can test their applications. That is not possible in geo redundant storage. So my understanding is we should go with read access geo redundant storage. The reason is that this storage account is configured for read access. If you see this documentation, it says that you can design your applications to seamlessly shift to reading data from secondary region if the primary region becomes unavailable for any reason. And here you can see the applications can be tested in advance to make sure that it will work properly if an outage happens. Okay, so option B seems to be a better way of doing it. So we will lock this answer and move forward to the next question. Now here in this question, so we have to first identify the keywords. So if I analyze this correctly, this question, if I see the options, it is related to restore. So in terms of restore, the keyword that is important here is create a full database backup. So now I will try to answer this question purely based on which option is good for creating a full database backup. So the restore option should you use on secondary replica? That is the question. So what is the difference between these different options? So suppose if you want to do a full database backup, we should do restore with recovery. Now restore with no recovery works well if you have options where you have to take multiple backups. So what it does is, unless all those multiple backups are finished, are wrapped up, you cannot read this database. And restore with standby means there will be a standby read-only version available for use whenever required. In this case, since the keyword is clearly saying full database backup, restore with recovery will fit in. So we will lock this answer and move forward. So here, this question, let's look at the key words here. Now this is a disaster recovery question. So one keyword here is the read write failover policy is automatic. And the question asked is what are the two results of this configuration? So we have to choose two options or two answers. The first one says in the event of a data center or Azure regional outage, the databases will fail over automatically, which is correct. Why? Because here you see the failover policy is set to automatic. So if a region fails, it will automatically fail over. This is correct. So second option suggests that if an outage happens, the databases in the primary instance will fail over immediately. So always remember the immediate failover doesn't happen. Okay, there is always a grant period. It can be an hour also, but immediately it doesn't happen. Now the third one says you can selectively fail over individual databases. So if you have set the policy as automatic for the group, so you see here this is a failover group. If there are 5 databases and all 5 databases are a part of this group, then all 5 will fail over at the same time. You will not have that control because it's a part of failover group. You will not have that control. Now C is wrong. D states that you can set a different grace period to fail for each database. I don't think so because the grace period has to be at a failover group level. E suggests that in the event of outage, minimum delay for the databases to failover in the primary instances will be 1 hour. 1 hour is the grace period. So if you see this documentation, so it says Azure triggers failover after failure is detected and the grace period has expired. Now if you see this, the grace period cannot be set below 1 hour. This limitation applies to all databases in the failover group, regardless of their data synchronization state. So that substantiates our answer is correct. So we will lock options A and E as the answer. Now let's see this question. First, read it and identify the keyword. Try to take a sense of what is this question related to. If you see this, it is related to pricing, deployment option, and pricing tiers. So this question says you have an Azure SQL database named DB1, and let's focus on the keyword. The keyword says this database supports automatic failover. So this is a requirement. We want to support automatic failover without data loss, and the solution should minimize costs. So which deployment option and pricing tier should be configured? So the answer here cannot be C managed instance because it is referring to the Azure SQL database only. So we have three options. Out of these three options, serverless is not used for this purpose. So serverless primarily why it is used is because suppose you have a new application and you don't know what will be the usage pattern of this database. So you can put it as serverless. You have a benefit of pausing the database and saving the cost in case of serverless. But serverless is not used for scenarios where you have uh, you know such cases where there should not be any data loss if a data center fails. Usually as a best practice, we start with serverless. We develop the applications, we understand the usage pattern and etc, the number of users getting in, the amount of time it is paused, not used, and those kind of stuff, and then we decide whether we have to go with a standard model, premium model, etc. So from a production standpoint, if you have such requirements where no data loss is required if the center fails, then premium is the best suited because if you see this premium and business critical service tiers, so primarily premium service tier, if a failover is initiated, the secondary replica becomes the primary node, and another secondary replica is created to ensure cluster has enough nodes. So the extra benefit that premium availability model includes the ability to redirect read-only SQL connections to the to one of the secondary replicas. So if you are just looking your application to be up and reading it, then you can switch it on to premium availability model will take care of that redirection. And that business critical stuff that we saw there, it is linked to database managed instances, and we don't need a database managed instance. the, it will work very well with the premium model. So we will log this answer and move forward. So in this question we have a scenario where this is a disaster recovery scenario. You need to implement disaster recovery for sales. Sales is an Azure SQL database. So you have these two requirements, like normal operations, provide at least two readable copies, and ensure that sales remains available if a data center fails. So what they are saying is they have given the solution as well. The solution is you deploy the database using general purpose service tier and geo replication. Now, if you see this, there are three architectural models: general purpose, hyperscale, and business critical. So general purpose is similar to standard. So if you remember, we saw in the previous question that premium is the best suited for this kind of requirements, because what it's saying is high availability is required because the sales remains available even if the data center fails. For high availability, always better to go with premium or business critical tier instead of general purpose. So the right answer is no in this case. So we will lock this answer. So this brings us to the fag end of part 5 of this video series. Please subscribe to my channel and like my videos. This keeps me motivated to put in more contents similar to this. Please remember that this channel is totally focused on helping you to clear cloud certifications. And needless to say, please focus on these concepts. Do not bug the answers, because if you understand the concepts, even if the options are a bit tweaked or the order changes, you would still be able to get through the exam.